Hi there, Tony Gelfone here. We are going to be doing another feature today. This one is going to be looping in Orchestrate. You have several different options in Orchestrate around loops. You have your batch loops, so you can essentially do batches of your data. If you have a significant amount of data coming in and you want to batch that up, you're able to do that. You can also do a join loop. So if you're taking two different data sets and joining them together into a new data set and then looping on that data set, you are able to do that with the join loop. But we're going to focus on just the standard loop today. So I have a very simple orchestrate here that is going to demonstrate the loop. I have a text template with some dummy data in here. We are going to be working with JSON, but you can do any type of data that you need, CSV, XML, all the different fun types of iterators out there. So we have, decimal number, CSV, XML, JSON, and then if you leave it on auto, it will try to determine what your iterator needs to be when you're going through your loop. So we have a very simple JSON here that is our list of employees with their roles, departments, and whether or not they're active. Our loop itself, you need to specify that iterator type. Again, if you leave it on auto, it will try to determine it for you. And then you have to determine your data set. Be careful with this one here. So specifically around your data set, let's take a look what this looks like in a JSON evaluator. So if I'm looking for this, which this is the actual data set that I'm wanting to loop on, it's an array of these employees. But if I were to have this bracket star, it's going to just pull back an array of the arrays. So unfortunately, that would just bring back this whole thing every time it tried to loop. So it'd loop on the whole data set all at once. So I definitely need to specify, especially in this example, down into the array level. So I want to do that star bracket. So I'm down into the actual array itself so I can loop through each individual employee. So be cognizant of what you're looping over. Filtering. So you can essentially filter on this data set. I am filtering on just active employees. So this is looking for anything that is active true. The filter does need to be a Boolean, so when you're looking for a particular item, just make sure that you're returning a Boolean in this filter to be able to say whether or not it comes into the loop or not. And then last but not least is the sort by. This is going to be what comes through the loop first. So it's going to ascend or descend based on this little arrow on the right. So I am going to basically be sorting this by role, and it is going to be ascending. So in alphabetical order, ascending is the way that it's going to be pushed into my loop. And then down here at the bottom, you can actually edit the locale of your loop as well. That it will overwrite the default locale of your orchestration. And then within our loop, you can do basically any step. So you can drag and drop and do all kinds of fun stuff in here. I am just going to do a simple log statement for demoing purposes. And then my log is just going to output the current item. And then last, you can actually aggregate after you have done a loop. So say you want to loop through all of these active employees and then compile a list to then do something else with that list that just has the active employees after you've gone through the loop. So you can go off of your loop here and click add aggregation. I've already added it, so now the only option here is to delete the aggregation. You can also add error handlers and early stop conditions as well that uses a Boolean to stop on a certain condition. And our aggregation here, I am using a JSON strategy on our active users. So I don't need to actually specify any additional information to tell it that it's an active user because I'm specifying that in my filter on my loop. But you could do that here also in the condition for the aggregate. So if you wanted to loop through every single employee, regardless of whether active or not, you could essentially specify that active employee here in the condition, because this is also looking for a Boolean. And then lastly here, you can add additional outputs if you wanted to create multiple different aggregates from your loop. So that's pretty handy as well. And then here, there is a button for failing when there's no input. So if you want your orchestration to blow up when essentially there's nothing coming into your loop, this is what that Boolean does. So let's go ahead and run this and see what it actually looks like. All right, now that I've deployed my orchestration, I'm going to run it. It's not actually going to return anything because I didn't actually put anything to the response, but I can check my run logs to see those logs that are coming out of my loop, and it's only going to be those employees with the tagged active. So I have one employee that shouldn't be coming through, Diana Prince, Tony Stark, James Howlett, and Sarah Connor will all come through because they are set to active true. So we're just waiting on those logs to come through. So I have James Howlett, I have Sarah Connor, and I have Tony Stark. Perfect. So it did my loop, and again, I am not seeing that fourth person because it is filtering on that. So again, very powerful tool, very useful. Looping is one of the most common things done with any kind of integration. So, and that's kind of the long and short of just the standard loop. Very, very, very handy tool to do within your orchestrations. And we'll catch you at the next one. Thank you.